Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Friday Phil. You know who I am. You know what my name is. You know exactly where I come from. You know where I hang out most days and during the week. I hope everyone is having a lovely Superman day, and I hope everyone coming in hits that like and subscribe button. Oh boy, what a week, right? What a week. What a week. What a beautiful week it's been, hadn't it? Another day, another dollar, as they like to say, etc., etc. Boom, biddy, boom, boom, a clot, boom, a clot. All right. Anything happened this week? It's like there's not really a lot happening this week. I feel like it was a pretty slow week. A whole lot of nothing happened, right? Wrong! We had a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit to talk about this week. That's for sure. Anyway, where is everyone today? Who's here? Who's in the chat? We got Mr. Dalton Bell showing up. What's going on, Dalton? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Daryl Taylor. Hey, Phil. Happy Friday. Saw your trailer breakdown on the new trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps. Great work. Plus, we still have the same suspects whining about Silver Surfer. That we do. I will touch on that. There was a new trailer for the Fantastic Four. We got Keyblade Master Jeffrey. Hi, Phil. Hi, Dalton. Superman Day. Happy Superman Day to everyone. That's right. That's right. Happy Superman Day. Happy Superman Day. That's right. That's right. Draven Mayberry. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Dalton Bell saying, I love New York. The city that birthed me. Right? I actually know New York did not birth me. But it's funny that Dalton mentions this. I guess, we can talk about this real quick because it is one of the things I did have up there, and that is the Daredevil finale. So I recently, this is kind of pertinent to Daredevil, but I watched the season 2 episode scene of Matt Murdock and Kingpin after Kingpin's lawyer walks away and fucking Matt's talking to Kingpin and telling him, like, you can screw with me just a little bit and you will never see your precious Vanessa ever again. And like you see Vincent D'Onofrio's, like, his whole demeanor just changes, and he drops the cuffs and he fucking grabs Matt Murdock by the shoulders and slams him on the fucking table and goes, say your name again, say it, go ahead, and just fucking loses his shit on Matt Murdock. Just one of the most beautiful exchanges between hero and villain in any medium ever, bar none. But no, let's talk about Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again, the finale of season 1. It was fine. It was a fine show. Very uneven. Couple, you could see the seams stitched together of something that was previous and then something where changes were made. Definitely. Like, you could definitely see the stuff that had been done by the previous 2 showrunners and then what had been done with Dario Scartapane and the current crew. Benson and Moorhead. It was definitely interesting, to say the least. But that final episode, that wasn't half bad. I will give that final episode its flowers. It wasn't too bad. And certain things felt, I wouldn't say predictable, but just kind of like, oh, okay, that feels like it was earned, I suppose. I think for me, like, having Karen Page only in a handful of episodes was just kind of like, okay. Wasn't really too hot on that. Was not a fan at all of the whole Wilson Fisk, Vanessa therapy bullshit, because that literally amounted to fuck all by the end of the season. That was waste. That was, honestly, it felt like a waste of time. Like, it felt like a means of the people making the show going, oh, see, Wilson and Vanessa are in therapy, but their therapist, it's Matt's new girlfriend. And then by the end of the season, Matt's new girlfriend is like kind of in Fisk's hand a little bit and like kind of defending him. And I don't know. I just felt like some of that shit was kind of tacked on and kind of unnecessary. I think Muse was maybe a little undercooked in certain respects. Like they brought him in, had him just killing people and making murals with blood, and that's all gravy. And then it just kind of stopped him there and killed the character. All right, cool. I guess. And hey, he looked like Muse from the comic. That's great. Cool. I will say, watching Benjamin Poindexter fucking do the work it was, he embodied Bullseye well enough. That was cool. Obviously, John Bernthal as the Punisher is a sight unseen, a treat in and of itself. So it's always nice to see him back and putting that skull on. And honestly, I think that was probably like my favorite part of the entire finale, where he gets kind of locked down by all those fucking task force goons, and he looks around, he wakes up, and the thing is like I just watched all of the Punisher show, so having literally just watched him just get the absolute dog shit beat out of him by people in the military, higher echelon government, I'm looking at these fucking clowns, pun intended, and I'm like, you guys really think you're gonna fucking like leave damage on Frank Castle? You guys think you're fucking up to snuff on the stuff you can do to him just because he's fucking tied up? You think he hasn't endured worse than this? And I love it that they all kind of gather around. They're like, oh man, we really admire you. And he looks up at him and he's just like, really? You admire me? You don't even fucking know me. You don't know my pain. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. You don't know why I wear this skull on my shirt. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of fucking clowns. Man. John Bernthal is just fucking force when it comes to the Punisher, and I love him to death. That man can do no fucking wrong, and the absolute slaughter he displayed when it came to those task force members, that was fucking chef's kiss. He knew the assignment and then went as far as to provide some extra credit. That was magnificent. Fuck yeah, Frank Castle. And him and Daredevil just teaming up, just beating the fuck out of those guys and murking them in the apartment. That was just all fucking badass. Okay. This was just great. But honestly, narratively, I just felt like, man, this really is just kind of a tee up for the second season. This, because they were like, yeah, we're doing some fun stuff, but what we're really getting to, just wait. We've got Matt in a certain suit. We've got, a bunch of other shit coming down. We got Matt and fucking Bullseye rematch time. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's great. You guys, maybe someone at Marvel went, hey, here's some photos. Fucking maybe let loose to the public. Let them know what we're cooking. And it's like, okay, that's great. Like, I get it. Like, the entire majority of season 1 of Born Again was like, oh, okay, well, he kind of he's out of the Daredevil suit because and like he's out of the suit because fucking Foggy died and it's his fault. At least he thinks so. And the entire first season is him like coming back to that, being born again. What the fuck ever. Okay. Like, cool. I don't know. I thought it was fine. It doesn't hold a candle to the original Netflix run. I dare I say it, but I did. And you know what? I'm perfectly comfortable with giving my overall rankings of each season right now. For me, it goes 2, 1, 3, Born Again. I don't really know what else anyone could have asked me for that. I don't know one asked really, but that's kind of where I slot it. It's not bad, it's not Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is the fucking low bar for Marvel shows, okay? That show is just started off great and then just fucking dipped after episode 3. Just such a massive decline in quality. So, overall it was fine, but I think Loki season, both seasons of Loki, honestly, they fucking outclass Daredevil and pretty much almost anything else on the Disney Plus Marvel side of things. Like, I think Loki's kind of my bar when it comes to that, personally. Like, WandaVision was great, Falcon Winter Soldier was good, Moon Knight was good, Miss Marvel's great, She-Hulk was good. Like the only one I really didn't really dig was fucking Secret Invasion, and What If is cool, but am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing a show. Did I miss a show? No, I think I got them all. I think that's it. Anyway. I hope so, Donovan. I hope season 2 is more on par with the Marvel Netflix stuff. I certainly fucking hope so. I do. Let's see. What's going on, Drogo? I hope you're doing, man. Also, do you think the rat's time in the Scoop community is running out? I mean, I wish he would just kind of fall off a fucking short cliff. Personally, that's just me. The Fantastic Four trailer was pretty good, better than the first trailer. Superman BTS had me hype. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I wish I could actually see the fight scenes because it was so dark. I saw the fights just fine, honestly. I don't. Maybe it's your TV settings or something. I don't know. I can't wait for season 2 because Bullseye is going to do some crazy shit and Frank Castle on the loose and Daredevil putting an army together. Yeah, Kingpin is going to have problems. Honestly, I wonder how much of what happens in Daredevil is going to influence anything, if at all, in Spider-Man, because obviously, it takes place in New York. Wilson Fisk is the mayor of New York. I wonder if everything that happens with him will wrap up by the time Spider-Man happens. It honestly really depends on when season 2 of Daredevil comes out. If it comes out before July and everything wraps up, Spider-Man should be fine, I'm sure. But if it comes out after, that's going to be a very interesting plot point to address in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to take into consideration. I do think I'm also curious to see when the Punisher special debuts. That'll be interesting to see where that slots. If it slots in, I'm assuming it would happen either in between Daredevil Born Again season 1 and 2, if not, or after season 2, depending on when that gets released. So that's great. I don't know. Oh, Daryl, you're right. I did forget when Hawkeye. Hawkeye was cool too, which I shouldn't have. And Echo. Duh, Echo. I'm honestly shocked Echo wasn't in this. In all seriousness, I really enjoyed first season 1 of Born Again. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I just think that it wasn't the best shit since baked bread. A lot of people are like, oh man, Daredevil's back. Oh man, this is like the best Disney Plus show. And I'm like, cool it. Pump the brakes, okay? Let's just fucking calm down. It gets good. Best Disney Plus show? That's a stretch. Well, best Disney Plus Marvel show. That to me is a stretch. In my humble opinion. I think that's a bit of a stretch. What is this? Oh, can't really watch that right now. Anyway, moving on from Daredevil, but keeping it in the Marvel family. Speaking of Marvel family, Fantastic Four First Steps official trailer dropped yesterday, which caught a lot of people by surprise. I was quite impressed with this trailer, and I love seeing all of the reactions to this trailer. Definitely. I'm not going to talk too much about this trailer because, well, I did a whole breakdown of it. You guys can check that out. It's pretty clear. It's like 20 minutes long. It's on my YouTube channel. If you search it, you will find it. But what I will do is I will present just some stuff that, I searched Fantastic Four First Steps on Threads, so let's just go ahead and see what other people are saying about it. Now, there's the new poster they revealed along with the trailer yesterday. Welcome to the family. You've got Sue and Reed. You got Johnny. And I love the little touch of having the 4 at the bottom of the shoe. That's actually really cool. There's Herbie. There's Ben. And they've even got a little, almost Grogu-esque baby casket here in the back. That's pretty awesome. Like that. So here's a comparison of the Silver Surfer from 2007 to the current one in 2025. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that the CGI for the current Silver Surfer doesn't hold up compared to the one in 2007, and I got to be honest, I actually disagree. I think Julia Gardner's Silver Surfer actually looks infinitely better than the one from Rise of the Silver Surfer. If I'm being brutally honest, like I genuinely think that it looks really good. I like the look. I like that. I honestly like that her hair's slicked back and not superbly wavy in like, you know, hardcore 90s. I like that a lot. I like it. I don't know what people were honestly expecting. I mean, it's a pretty cut and dry concept. Silver Surfer. It's a alien doused in silver and space surfer. So, yeah. No, the dude who ran his mouth trying to trash the Penguin series should have just talked about his TV show and not focused on somebody else's. I have no idea what you're referring to, Antonio. I have absolutely zero idea of what you're referring to. But oh, this right here just fucking rips. Oh man.
Yes, we are. Your planet is now marked for death.
Ugh! Love that.
It's my fault. I stretched the bounds of space.
Love that.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that so much. Are you the protectors of this world? Yes. Your planet has been marked for death. And then redoing the scene of the Human Torch chasing after the Silver Surfer only for his flame to like die out. Oh my God. I love that because it in a way shows you that things happen parallel across the multiverse. We saw this happen in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. We're seeing it again here in First Steps. I love that so much. This right here was also pretty cool. The Thing lifting up a big green car, kind of evoking a little bit of Superman Action Comics #1. That's pretty rad. I love that shot right there of Reed in his astronaut outfit. That's just super cool. Man, I cannot get enough of this movie, man. I can't wait till July. This is easily my most anticipated superhero film of the year. I have. Hey, look at that. There's my reaction right there. How about them apples? Look at that. Dope shit. Anyway. Yeah, I can't wait for this movie. I genuinely am in shock and awe about how just beautiful this movie looks and how great it is to have Marvel Studios in charge of the Fantastic Four. Big steps, first steps. Galactus. It's going to be very interesting to see how they pull him off in live action. And it looks like they nailed it. You know, especially based on this shot right here of Galactus's fucking helmet. Like, man, I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait to see Galactus in all his armored glory. That's going to be fucking something else. Can't wait. Oh, cool. Here's a side-by-side of that. Johnny chasing the Silver Surfer and his fucking flaming getting burnt out. How fucking rad is that? Love that so much. Love it. Man, I really can't wait for this movie. Oh man, such a great cast. And also fucking Franklin Richards, baby. We'll see. But the fact that Sue Storm is pregnant in this movie, oh man, I'm keeping my fingers crossed it's Franklin. I mean, logic tells me that it's Franklin. Franklin was the one introduced first. And it would make sense for it to be Franklin. He's, you know, one of the strongest characters in all of Marvel. He's arguably maybe the reason why Galactus may or may not be coming to this world on top of Reed kind of creating a beacon of sorts. You know, oh, here's another good shot right there of Mr. Fantastic doing the fantastic thing. Just a really solid, beautiful trailer. What a great trailer, right? Just what a beautiful showcase of what to expect from this movie coming out in a little less than 2 months. Wait, hold on. April, May, June, July. 3 months. 3 months. 3 months and a week. They've not revealed what Doctor Doom looks like yet, though. Then again, I don't imagine that they will. Probably saving him for surprise in Fantastic Four First Steps. Can't wait. Can't wait. Also, check out Vigilante Vibes podcast. Megan does a really good job breaking this trailer down, too. Super, super cool. Super good stuff. But overall, yeah, man, I am so pumped for Fantastic Four, the First Steps. This movie looks incredible. It looks fantastic. And I really can't wait to watch this movie. I can't wait to sit down and watch this film. I'm probably going to be down in SoCal, probably watching it with a lot of friends. So it's going to be great to see the Fantastic Four on the big screen back again, and this time in a unified world, even though they're kind of setting them apart. It's the irony right there of this, of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Everyone was like, oh, how are they going to integrate the Fantastic Four in the MCU? Well, that's the thing. They're going to put them in their own universe first. So the irony there is like, oh, how are they going to fit in this universe? Well, that's the thing. They don't start out in this universe. I think that's actually pretty ingenious. But like I said, if you guys want a more in-depth reaction or breakdown from me, it is on my channel. Go ahead and check that out. I did not, however, have time. Like I loosely reacted to a lot of stuff coming out last night from, in true Force fashion, Star Wars Celebration. A buddies of mine are actually in Japan right now. My buddy Busy Braun and Ronan Shane, they are in Japan on the ground right now at Star Wars Celebration. And man, there was a lot of stuff announced at Star Wars Celebration. Some really first thing that I want. What the fuck is it? God, everyone's just all up in arms about that Darth Maul series, but it's not what I want to talk about first. Here we go. Present, share screen. There we are. Okay, so the rumors are in fact true. Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling are making a Star Wars movie, and it is called Star Wars Starfighter. And this is a quote from Sean Levy. This is not a prequel. It's not a sequel. It's a new adventure. And it technically falls on the timeline after Rise of Skywalker. So, listen, you got Sean Levy directing a fucking Star Wars movie. You've got Ryan Gosling starring in it. I've got no regrets. I will be there day one for sure. Let's just go to the Star Wars official page. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see. So, oh, they don't even have all the announcements there. Damn. Well, darn. This is interesting. Goodness gracious. They don't have hardly anything here. That was the Star Wars page, not going to have hardly anything covering Celebration, bro. That's wild. It's so wild to me. Goodness gracious me. But there was some stuff shown for Mandalorian and Grogu. There have been plenty of leaked images from the trailer they showed. The movie does come out in May. It comes out May 22nd, 2026. And it will be the first Star Wars film to come out in almost 7 years. It'll be 7 years next year. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun movie. You know, Jon Favreau has never let me down. I'm actually one of the crazy people who likes Iron Man 2. But Mandalorian and Grogu, we get Zeb back from Rebels. And of course, you know, oh no, he wasn't in Ahsoka. I don't think he was in Ahsoka. If he was, I don't remember him being in Ahsoka. But we get Zeb and the Mando. We get, I did see a fair amount of the leak trailer. And I will say that Din Djarin fucks up an AT-AT, and it's amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. Sigourney Weaver is also confirmed to be in the movie as a Rebel Alliance pilot. And I will just say that Sigourney Weaver can still get it without question. Hell yeah. And apparently Jeremy Allen White will in fact be playing Rada the Hutt, and he will be portraying him as a muscle-bound Hutt in a gladiator situation. He's a gladiator fighter. So that's cool. I like Jeremy Allen White, and he's joining the Star Wars universe as a fucking Hutt of all things. But hey, you know, good for him. Get that bag, Jeremy. Love it. Love it. You know, here's Pedro Pascal and Favreau, I think, or is it Filoni? Yeah, that's Pedro Pascal and Dave Filoni right there. Man, I bet they were just having a great time down there in Japan talking about this stuff. Then also, the big thing I think a lot of people are really raving about was the fact that Darth Maul is getting his own animated series. And it is called Maul Shadow Lord. And this is from The Hollywood Reporter, so you know this is official. The series was revealed in the final minutes of a panel spotlighting the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm Animation, with Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, Dave Filoni, who rose through the ranks via the animation division, and VP animation, Athena Portillo, discussing the company's rich output. But while they were chatting about someone did a typo there, about working with George Lucas or the animation process or past hits, when it came to discussion of future project, it was show, don't tell. They simply dropped the trailer onto the suspecting crowd, and when it became clear that it was a show centered on Maul, fans were sent to a rapturous ecstasy. The show, which will tell the story of Maul teaching an apprentice, will debut in 2026. Sam Witwer, who voiced Maul and voiced the Maul character in previous animated series, will reprise the part. As a character, Maul has shown to have unexpected lasting power. He made for a fearsome and memorable appearance thanks to his unique look and double-edged lightsaber, the latter blowing minds of fans who first saw it on screen in The Phantom Menace. Played acrobatically by Ray Park, the Sith Lord even managed to prove actually deadly, killing Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn, of course, played by Liam Neeson. Also died when he was cut in two by a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he did not die in that. He dies later on in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, they resurrect him, talk about that. The news of Maul's series came during a panel looking at marking the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm's animation division, which in many ways kept the Star Wars mythology going during some lean years in the aughts and early 2010s. Let's see. Also shown was an episode for an upcoming animated series, Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. Interesting. So yeah, Darth Maul is in fact getting his own animated series, and he will be training a new apprentice. Kiara from Solo, maybe? Question mark? That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I'm down. You know, I'm not one of those goofy ass Star Wars fans who spends all their time fucking crying online about how woke and bullshit Disney is. You know, more Star Wars is never a bad thing in my humble opinion, because I can remember a time when there hardly was any Star Wars. Yes, Daryl, you are correct. Pedro Pascal is going to have one hell of a time next year between both Star Wars and Marvel. Between Avengers Doom in the same month, nonetheless. Avengers Doomsday and Mandalorian and Grogu releasing a mere 3 weeks apart from each other. That will be interesting. Although I don't think that's Disney competing with itself at all. I think that's Disney going, oh, people are going to show up to the theater all month of May for Pedro Pascal. That's what Disney's thinking. They don't give a fuck about competing with themselves. They just want all the money. They don't give a fuck. They know Avengers is going to make money. They know Star Wars is going to make money. So Dalton says Darth Talon, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't try and guesstimate too much. I don't remember if Darth Talon's expanded universe or not, but I know that Disney will do their own thing. That's why they have their own Del Rey timeline as far as this stuff is concerned. So anyway, like I said, I'm not at all mad about, you know, any of the stuff that has been coming out in regards to Star Wars Celebration. You know, more Star Wars is not a bad thing in my opinion at all. I like that Sean Levy's movie is happening and it will start filming later this fall. That's really cool. And it'll, you know, probably tide people over until we get a trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu, which I would imagine the public will probably see that trailer probably around Christmas time. I think we're going to see a trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu more than likely in front of Avatar, Fire and Ash. That's my bet. That's my guess. I am guessing right here, right now on my show that the public will see the very first trailer for Mandalorian and Grogu in front of Avatar, Fire and Ash. Bet on it. Bet on it. And of course, everyone who, if you are a Star Wars fan, you know, Andor Season 2 kicks off next week with 3 episodes per week because they're doing a 3-episode block leading into Rogue One with Andor. So that'll be interesting having to talk about 3 episodes of Andor per week. It's going to be a very interesting way of releasing that show. I think that's honestly kind of smart. You know, if from what I understand, each 3-episode block takes place over the course of a year leading up to Rogue One. Like Andor Season 1 was like year 1 of 5 leading into Rogue One. And then these will be subsequent, like year 2, 3, 4. And then the last block of 3 episodes will be that 5th year and lead directly into Rogue One, which is cool. And, you know, I say that as someone who's not really like overtly excited for Andor, but I'm not going to say, boo, kill it with fire. Why does this exist? Who asked for this? Because clearly people really loved Cassian Andor. Like they liked Diego Luna in this role. And I think it was smart on Lucasfilm to be like, we have a character that isn't named Skywalker. Let's capitalize on this in the best way we can. How do we do that? Well, let's add more substance to this character who has a, you know, finite amount of screen time in a movie which everyone died in. Ronan will be eating good with Andor, especially after golfing. Yeah, Pedro Pascal is definitely going to be busy next year with Marvel and Star Wars because he's not going to be busy with The Last of Us here pretty soon. For anyone who knows what happens to Joel's character in those games. Anyway, yeah. Star Wars Celebration's happening right now. I'm sure if you are on Twitter, I'm sure it's going haywire with all the Star Wars information. But Threads is a little more loose and lax. Not seeing too many spoilers flying around from it. But this is actually a really cool image of the animation department for 20 years. Here we go. Look at that. Look at all those characters. Look at those ships in the background. That one's from Star Wars Rebels. The Emperor right there and his little crew. You've got Chopper. You've got Ahsoka. Just look at all these amazing characters who we would not have if not for animation. Just beautiful poster. Beautiful poster indeed. 20 years of Star Wars animation. Who would have thought, right? It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Let's see. Jalen Harris says, I still feel like Star Wars is like Limbo Dead. The fans are not all, but loud minority are toxic. The shows, for the most part, have sucked. The Acolyte, and I don't know where we are going. I'm gonna say I kind of disagree with a lot of that, if I'm being brutally honest, because again, I remember a time when there wasn't any Star Wars after Revenge of the Sith. Speaking of which, that has its 20th year anniversary, and I will be watching that next Saturday. The fans, a lot of them are toxic. A lot of Star Wars fans are just inherently toxic, and it's kind of a bummer because they piss in the pool when it comes to the conversation. And I definitely don't agree that the shows suck. disagree completely. I think Mandalorian is like one of the best Star Wars TV shows ever made. I think Book of Boba Fett could have been better, but I don't think it's bad. I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is really great. I'm one of the few people who like The Acolyte, and I think a lot of their animated shows are even more kick-ass. And Ahsoka sucked? Nah. Ahsoka doesn't suck, man. Ahsoka's like also like one of the best shows up there. I mean, my ranking of the shows probably goes, and again, I say this as someone who doesn't necessarily hate any of them. I think my ranking probably goes Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Acolyte, Book of Boba Fett, Andor. And the thing is like, I think that Star Wars is such a broad and wide IP that there is just something to have for everyone. Like people like Star Wars for different reasons. You know, a lot of people gravitate towards the Jedi Sith conflict. People gravitate towards the boots on the ground Rebel Alliance Galactic Empire conflict. People gravitate towards the scum and villainy, you know, corners of Star Wars. Like there really is a lot to digest and chew on and to dive into when it comes to this franchise. And I think when someone says something blanketly like, oh, Andor is the best thing Star Wars has made, all of Star Wars should be like this, I am very quick to be like, no, all of Star Wars should not be like Andor. That's ridiculous. You're boxing something in, and that's not okay for creativity. Like when I even saw people kind of like poo-pooing the third season of Mandalorian, I'm like, fucking really? What are we doing here? You're mad because Jack Black and Lizzo showed up? Are you fucking serious? It just blows my mind that some Star Wars fans just get so bent out of shape over the dumbest shit. Like when something doesn't happen that they expect to happen, I'm sorry, but that's on you for, you know, creating these wild expectations in your head when something doesn't pan out. Like, case in point, The Last Jedi. Like, that is one of the most divisive Star Wars movies I have ever seen. And I watched Attack of the Clones. I watched The Phantom Menace. I watched Revenge of the Sith. And The Rise of Skywalker. But man, the conversation surrounding The Last Jedi is almost as everlasting as the conversation surrounding fucking Batman versus Superman. And when it comes to The Last Jedi, you know, Mark Hamill has come out and said, like, yeah, I fundamentally disagree with a lot of things done in this movie, but I'm still going to do my job because I think this tells a really great story for the character. I'm baffled that some fans just, you know, they see a female lead and they're like, oh, boo, hiss, woke. What the fuck do you mean? Like, you sat there and simped over Leia Organa for fuck knows how long. Suddenly you hand a woman a lightsaber and it's a fucking problem now? Listen, people like Max Landis, Jeff Snyder, Nerdrotic, fucking dipshit D-Day Cobra, Jeremy, whatever the fuck that dude's name is. Like, that's toxic masculinity being mad that Star Wars isn't white male anymore. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And I just fucking hate that so much. And when Max Landis went out of his way to call Rey Skywalker a Mary Sue, that was the infection right there. That was the boiling. That was the beginning of the boiling point for fanboys to collectively swarm around the Disney era of Star Wars and put everything under a microscope and bitch, moan, and groan and whine about everything that they did that they disagreed with. When I think there's a critical conversation to be had about the sequel trilogy, for sure. But if your criticisms boil down to anything of the likes of Rey is a Mary Sue, or fucking The Rise of Skywalker's trash, or fucking Disney Star Wars sucks, or this is the biggest red flag for anyone. The minute you hear people start saying something to the effect of, oh, Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired, that is when I stop paying attention to anything anyone has to say. I'm sorry, because Kathleen Kennedy has been in this business for fucking 30 fucking years. Okay? She worked at Lucasfilm and Amblin Entertainment. She got that. She was handpicked by George Lucas to run Lucasfilm. Okay, so when people have the gall to say, "Oh, Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. She needs to be fired. She needs to be removed. Whatever." I'm just like, okay, I can't take anything you fucking say seriously because you have no fundamental understanding of just how Star Wars operates. I'm sorry. Like, just shut the fuck up. Just seriously, for the rest of the fandom, shut the fuck up. Because if you were running the studio, Star Wars wouldn't even be fucking existing at the moment, okay? I love that Kathleen Kennedy is pushing the boundaries and finally stepping away from the Skywalker stuff. And still also even leaning into it because that's what people do love about Star Wars. That's another thing. People love the Skywalker family. You were never going to be able to get away from that. It's like DC and Batman. You can't do a DC universe without Batman or Superman for that matter. The Skywalkers are so inherent and baked into the recipe that is Star Wars, you will never truly see them go away. Yes, we can have stories and tell stories about other characters in this universe, and that's what expands the tapestry. But at the core, the Skywalker family will always be present in some fashion or another. But the fuck do I know? I'm just a fucking nerd who sits in his room and talks about this shit every fucking week. Anyway, what's everyone else saying? I'll give you Obi-Wan, Mando, and Andor, but I'm sorry, Boba Fett was at most mid. Same with Acolyte, still think it was trash, although the action was kick-ass. Ahsoka, yeah, that's good too. See, I told you, it's not, they all don't suck. I told you. Cameron, I see you, bud. What's up, man? The one Star Wars Disney Plus series I really like was the Book of Boba Fett. It has its problems, but I still liked. I also wish the Acolyte did better. It had an interesting premise and wish we would have seen where it went. I hate how people use the word woke for everything. It's so bad. It's run its course. I even heard it at work one day, and I was like, you understand that word has lost its meaning, right? He goes, what do you mean? I go, when you call something woke, that means people aren't going to take you seriously. He goes, what do you mean? I said, look, you just told me you watched The Boys, but the 4 seasons woke. Do you have any idea how much sense that makes? I hope the next gen of Star Wars fans recover from this age of toxic criticism, if you can even call it at this rate. Like, I want actors and fans to have positive and healthy environment. I agree. And that's another reason why I love Skeleton Crew so much. Skeleton Crew was a breath of fresh air. It was literally, hey, remember when you were a kid and you had a Star Wars adventure in your mind? Yeah, that's what Skeleton Crew is. It's a bunch of kids in Star Wars wishing they went on an adventure and actually get to go on an adventure. Man, I pray to God we fucking just end this era of nonsensical bullshit fucking criticism. It's woke, it's trash. Daisy Ridley's a fucking terrible actress. Look at me, I'm nerd-rotic. Look at me in my fucking Gandalf beard. Clown. I was cast in Star Wars. The War in Stars, a Star Wars story. Great. Can't wait to see it released in 2030. Looking forward to it, bud. The fact we're getting Star Wars stuff more often than 20 years ago should be a good thing in the eyes of fans. But like I say, bitches be bitching. They want things specific and they don't get what they want, they whine. Hold on, I'm going to pull up a drop because that is so fucking true. So fucking true. You know, it's like when people want something in Star Wars and they don't get something in Star Wars and they just fucking sit there and bitch and moan and cry. This is how I want to reply half the time.
Get him out of here. Shut the fuck up, fat man. This ain't none of your goddamn business.
That's right, folks. I just want to tell them shut the fuck up. Because fuck them. Fuck all those dumb motherfuckers. They're not fans. They're not real fans. They are fucking dumb people. They're dumb people who think they represent a fandom when they do not. See, people who actually enjoy Star Wars are more than likely at Star Wars Celebration. The people who hate everything Disney's doing are making YouTube videos with shitty thumbnails talking about why they hate things in Star Wars or Harry Potter or whatever the fuck. Anyway. You know what else is getting a lot of hate unnecessarily? Superman on Superman Day. Okay, not really, but the new Superman movie, right? Like everyone thought a trailer was coming today, and we kind of got one. More of a behind the scenes thing, but still got something cool. Mr. Jimmy Guns dropped that in the Superman page, and DC shared this really slick behind the scenes look of the new Superman movie. And I'm terrified to share it because I don't want to get hit with a copyright. Truthfully, I would love to, but I just don't know if I should or not. But it is in fact Superman Day, and I decided to wear Kingdom Come because, well, I feel like if I had worn any other one, be it my Man of Steel shirt, my James Gunn Superman shirt, or even just the generic Superman shirt, I felt like I would have come off leaning towards just one way. And I feel like the best way I'm going to say this is like, celebrate Superman Day the way you want to. You know what I mean? Like whatever Superman means to you, that's all that should matter. Okay. If you're excited for the new movie, be excited for the new movie. If you love Henry Cavill's Superman, watch Man of Steel, BVS, and the Snyder Cut. If you love Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, there's 4 seasons of Superman and Lois right there on Max. If you love Superman, the animated series, again, it's all there on Max. If you like My Adventures with Superman, again, on Max. And I say this as someone who does not have Max anymore. If you love the Christopher Reeve movies, pop those in. Watch all 4 of those. If God forbid, if you like Superman Returns, throw that on too. Shit. If you like Lois and Clark with Dean Cain, watch that. Superman means so many different things to so many different people because the character has been around for 87 years and he's gone through so many trials, tribulations, and creative overhauls and changes that there is no one definitive version of the character. Yes, hope, inspiration. Those are key core elements to who this character is. He is kind. He is caring. He is putting himself before, he's putting other people before himself. Superman is everything that people should aspire to be like, without question. And I think that's what makes him still so relatable to this day after almost 90 years of being a fictional inspiration and a fictional character. Superman, without question, is, and arguably still to this day, the most iconic, recognizable, and relatable superhero ever created. When Siegel and Schuster came here and made that character, I don't know that they realized just the kind of impact they were going to have. Because hot damn, they made a fucking icon. Superman is in all of us in so many different ways, and I love that character to death. But with that behind the scenes look, we did get a really great glimpse at a couple characters, one of which being fucking Metamorpho. Man, I love Batman and the Outsiders, and the reason I love that book is because it is a team of like B and C listers all run by Batman after Batman decides to quit the Justice League. Metamorpho is one of those characters. Metamorpho is like one of the most fucking coolest characters in DC Comics. He can literally change his mass. He can change from like rock. He can change to like gas. He can fucking do so much different shit. Metamorpho is like, without question, one of the most badass fucking characters in DC. Without a fucking shadow of a doubt, dude. Like, I love Metamorpho, and I'm so fucking happy to see that he's getting a live action appearance in this movie, played by one Anthony Carrigan. Man, this is going to be so fucking dope. I can't wait. And, you know, this also provided a nice look at our Superman and Lex Luthor. Now, look, I've given my fair share of criticisms toward the suit. I do like this. I do like the logo. I think the logo is probably the best thing about it. I still am not a fan. I will never be a fan of the trunks on the outside. I think that is a fucking outdated concept, and it should not have been re-implemented. But hey, you know, David Cornsweet brought the idea to James Gunn, and they they're making it work, I guess, even though it looks kind of like a diaper. But I digress. I think Nicholas Holt's going to be a good Lex Luthor. I just need to see more of him as Lex, definitely. I need to see how he interacts with other people, and I hope to God he doesn't scream Miss Tessmacher. Praying he doesn't do that, because that is just going to be just a little too on the nose and a little too 78 for my liking. We also have a picture here of James Gunn, the director, the engineer, and then, of course, the Lex Luthor Corps army, whatever the hell, his own private army, something like that. And then, of course, there's Ultraman behind him. So that's cool. Cool image, definitely. We got here the entire cast, all in Superman shirts, dressed up for Superman Day. Pretty rad. Pretty rad. Of course, we also have one. God, what is her name? Isabella Merced. There we go. Wow, I don't know how the fuck I fucking forgot that. Looking amazing as Hot Girl. Can't wait to see her in the movie. Also, look at that emblem. That is like the clearest look you're going to get. And I'm wondering if... Are they going to be called the Justice League, or are they going to be called the Justice Lords because of Lord Industries? I do wonder about that. Either way, looks good. Looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. There's also one other image that I wanted to pull up. Where the hell is it? There it is, right there. Believe this is James Gunn in the Terrific Sphere. It would be Mr. Terrific's mode of transportation through this movie. I gotta admit, like, I have my criticisms of James Gunn. Him and I don't know him personally. I chatted with him once or twice over, social media. Not like in DMs or anything, but he's responded to things I've said. And I may not at all agree with, certain things he's done creatively. Still, he seems like a really nice guy, real smart guy. He loves comic books. That much is evident. I will not deny him that. I think this is a pretty cool shot of a director in his space, positioning people of what to do, where to look, how to act, what he wants out of this. My point is he very clearly is a man with a vision, and I think that it's very evocative of when Snyder was doing Man of Steel, and I even really appreciate that James even talked about doing this movie, and he referenced both Richard Donner and Zack Snyder as inspiration. I find that very endearing and cool, and I think, again, every director who's made a Superman movie has left an indelible mark on the character in their own way, and I think that's ultimately what people should try and take away from this. You can be mad that Henry Cavill isn't Superman anymore. You can be bummed. I'm not saying that, but if you're gonna, if your entire online personality is just dedicated to shitting on James Gunn, I got nothing for you, if I'm being brutally honest. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get wasting that much energy into hoping a movie fails, because that's exactly what happened with Man of Steel and BVS and the prior DCU, and that's how that universe ended up going to shit, because so many people wanted it to fail. They didn't give it a chance, and then it all went downhill because, well, the architect left. So, hopefully James Gunn gets allowed the creative freedom that was denied to Zack Snyder. I hope that absolutely is the case. But speaking of Snyder, he even gave his own Superman Day post. This is one of my favorite quotes from Man of Steel, too. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. Superman Day. And there's that first image there of Henry Cavill as Superman that was released when they were making the movie. Oh, did he post this on Vero? I gotta look at this now. Holy shit. Hold on one second, folks. I'm checking Vero to see if that's a legitimate thing, because I can never tell. People like to Photoshop Vero posts all the fucking time. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, wow, that is a legitimate picture. Dope. That's fucking sauce. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Zack Snyder. Of course, Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie, and I'll probably be watching that here after this show's over. But yeah, Metamorpho again, that's the action figure. But man, that looks really good. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm not surprised that we didn't get a trailer. Once, I thought maybe they were going to do it in front of Sinners, but I was happy to be wrong. And then once James Gunn said it might be a bit before the new trailer comes out, I was like, okay, we're probably not going to get one on Superman Day. And that's fine. I'm content with waiting. I do think it will be out before the, I think they might want to put it in front of Thunderbolts, but if it doesn't end up in front of Thunderbolts, they'll probably wait for something else. Not really sure. I would have to imagine a massive marketing push might happen for Superman starting in June, because that's when a lot of comic books that are being influenced by, the Summer of Superman are going to kick off, like May and June, somewhere in there. But yeah. What are you guys saying? Let me see what you guys are all talking about. Jalen says, I'm excited for the Superman movie after waiting a whole ass decade. James has never let me down with his projects, comic book stuff at least. And this new look was peak. Dalton says, the BTS video was good. Metamorpho looks sick. And the DCAU fan of me is smiling from ear to ear. The Daily Planet office looks amazing. I agree. It was cool to see that behind the scenes bit of Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan, and Perry White, played by Wendell Pierce. I think that was a cool look. Also happy to see Zach post Man of Steel to celebrate today as well. Respect the past, embrace the future of Superman. But of course, you got some Snyder Bros making it a competition again. Well, of course they are. Why wouldn't they? They're stuck in the past. That's what I've been wanting from DC, to expand on DC's huge list of characters that aren't Batman only. And of course, Jalen says Trunks forever. Oh, more power to you, buddy. I'm not on that Trunks train. Wasn't here at the Fantastic Four discussions, but I saw some good fans are calling Silver Surfer the engineer from Superman. Well, that's a take, certainly. Hot girl. You're funny, Jalen. You're too funny. Heard that James Gunn took some inspiration from Man of Steel for Superman. Well, that scene of him jumping, flying down, landing in a crowd, berating him, yeah, that feels very BVS to me. So that quote from Man of Steel sums up Superman to me. That quote for me is top tier Superman. That is just a beautiful quote delivered by one Russell Crowe as Jor-El. And yeah, I love that movie. I will probably be watching it here as soon as I end the stream, because that's just how much I love Superman. And that is, that is the Superman that I enjoy the most. I loved Henry Cavill's take on the character. Thought he looked a hell of a lot like Superman. He looked really great. That costume looked good. That movie was great. I remember a time when I was really anticipating that movie, and now here we are, 12 years later, there's another one coming. And I think that's the beauty of Superman. And in a way, him and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are almost weirdly reshapeable in a certain respect. Like, every director comes in and does their own thing with it. And I think that James Gunn has kind of hit a spot that hasn't been tapped yet. The science fiction, Silver Agey type of story that has not been tackled yet. The very science-y aspects of Superman that just kind of go untouched. Between the robots in the Fortress of Solitude, between Lex Luthor just being kind of like a tech defense kind of guy and having all these machinations and shit. Here for it. Absolutely here for it. But that's about all I got. I know people are probably expecting a Sinners review. Unfortunately, I did not get out to go see it. I may go see it sometime next weekend, before or after Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, that's about all I got. Do me that favor, everyone, hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate everyone coming in to stop by and say hi. Jalen, Cameron, Dalton, Donovan, Jeffrey, Chainsaw, Daryl, Antonio, Axel, Droga, Draven, really appreciate you guys coming in here every week to week, shooting the shit with me. But, that's where I'm going to put a pin in it. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Superman day. You can probably find me on the Council of Creators every Wednesday. You can find me on Party Nation every Tuesday. You can find me on probably the Vodka Stream every Friday night. But this is where I bid thee fairly well, and I will catch you guys later. Happy Superman Day.